Welcome back, everyone. At my last testing, this is a new design. What I did, I thought about this a little more, and I thought we were going to see the effects of amp load on the different P rating cells. So I built a test rig. This test rig, sorry, I need to get this up here for my editing. 2S2P 200 amp potential. This test rig, we have 80 amps possible of resistance across the top board. We have 80 amps set up here. We have 60 amps set up on this guy, and we have another 30 here. For this test, we will not be using these. We'll be using the 80 amp plus 80 amp, which is 160, plus another 60 over here, which should be at about 220 amp potential. So we're going to do this on a 2S2P setups, and we'll see what kind of, we're going to do a 5-second test. We're going to give it 100% of the load available. After 5 seconds, we'll see what the minimum voltage is and what the maximum amperage is. The fluke will be set at minimum voltage. It'll record the minimum voltage through the test. We're going to try not to take it underneath 6.4. Hopefully it doesn't get there. And then this will record the maximum amperage. This will be DC amperage, and it will be set at max. So we see the maximum amp draw for that test. So that's kind of our test rig. We're going to do probably 4 different cells, different ratings, and then we'll see what kind of results we get. On to the testing. All right, getting ready to start. We have, this is going to be 2S2B, 220 amp, test 1, cell 1. It's a 2S2P configuration, 5200 milliamps at 120C. So it should have a rating of 624 amps, theoretical. So what we have here, we have the fluke meter all set up. It is on DC voltage with a maximum. So it's, set to record minimum. We're at 8.24 volts right now. We have the clamp meter set up at DC amperage and a maximum record. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in for 5 seconds, and let's see what happens, guys. If you are ready. So we got 1, plug in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I unplugged that quick because we got all the way down to 5.93 volts at 175 amps. So we had 175 amp draw at 5 seconds. That was our maximum amperage draw. And we went from 8.4 whatever voltage it was down to 5.93. Now that is obviously minimum voltage. That's where it recorded at. This is 5.93 is the minimum we hit. And we had 175 amps was the maximum amperage draw. So right now we are sitting at back up to 8.25 is the battery recovery voltage. What we're going to see, I'm also going to do the recharge milliamps. So we're going to take each one of these packs, we're going to charge them at 5 amps until they get fully charged, and we're going to record how many milliamps it took to get these things back to full charge. So again, that was test 1, cell 1. You can see that here, cell 1. And we drew 175 amps, and we went down to, I forgot what it was, 5.93 volts in 5 seconds. So this is what your speed control is doing your batteries. Okay, so we got cell 1 before the recharge. Cell 1, put in a Lipo tester. It says it's at 94%. First cell is at 94. Second cell is at 96. And overall pack is 94. We're going to go ahead and get this thing charged, and we'll be right back. Okay, we have the second test set up. It's going to be test 2. It's cell 2, 2S2P, 5200 milliamps, 120C. This is the same brand as the first one, but it is a separate cell. You can see this is marked as C2. We're set up at voltage, recording minimum voltage. We have amperage set at, let's see, we gotta go to DC amperage. We have to change the range, and we have to go to maximum. So now we're set up at DC amps, record the maximum, and our range is set correctly. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one started again. And here's cell 2, test 2. And we're gonna plug in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that was 5 seconds. It's totally scientific. I count to 5, that's it. So in this one, we drew 167 amps at 6.07 voltage was the lowest voltage recorded. Of course, that was at the end. Right now, we're sitting back up to 8.24 already. So that was our voltage sag that we talk about when we deal with our speed controls on these drag cars. So we're at 8.24 now. At the end of the test, we were sitting at 6.07 volts, and we drew 167 amps. Okay, so here's cell 2 before charge. We are at 4.142 volts total pack. Cell 1 is 4.12 at 92%. Cell 2 is at 4.14 at 95%. Let's see what we have. Pretty surprised about the... That's pretty much a worthless button. The percentage of milliamp draw. So let's go ahead and get this thing on charge, and we'll see what it took to get her charged back up. Alright, we're back for test 3. Test 3 is going to be test 3, cell 3. It is marked C3 on there, hard to see. Is 2S2P also. We're at 5100 milliamp rated battery at 130C, which should give us a potential of 663 amps. Like I said, this is a different brand battery, but we're going to go ahead and see how it tests out. So again, we're going to change our amperage. We got to go to DC voltage, DC amperage, change the range, change it to set record maximum. Then we go to our voltage, change our voltage back to DC. It's 8.42 volts right now. We're going to set that to record minimum. Again, this is going to be a 5-second test. You'll see me plug in the positive lead, and we'll see what happens after 5 seconds. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, so this recording, we ended up with 164 amp draw. Yes, 164.5 is what the actual current flow was, and we end up with an ending voltage of 6.17 volts. So we had 164.5 amp draw, and we end up with a 6.17 volt lowest reading. We are back up to 8 volts right now, and it's still climbing. That's the sag, or the battery's recovering. And I did not do a temperature test. I will do that on test 4. But these batteries they started out at 72 degrees. And we got a temperature rise of about 85.9. So we're definitely see a temperature rise, but the batteries are getting warm. This is a large draw for the batteries. But it is what it is. We're going to see what happens. Like I said, ending temperature is 86. Here's another pack out of the case. They're at 69.4. Okay, moving on to cell 3. We're 8.27 volts, 4.12 in the first cell, and 4.14 in the second cell. Let's get to charging. Okay, we're all set up for test 4. Test 4 is going to be 2S2P on cell 4. It's a 6,000 milliamp, 130C, so it should have 780 amp potential. We're going to test the amperage of voltage over 5 seconds. Oh, I also added the temperature beginning and temperature end. So right now the cell is sitting at, let's say 66, 67 degrees. And then we are going to go ahead and test this, and we'll see what the ending temperature is and see what kind of amperage and voltage draw we have. We're going to do this for 5 seconds. So we're ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. Okay. So as you watch the amperage drop down as the voltage goes down. I guess if we're watching the amp meter, if you guys know anything about voltage, we're using the resistance here. The resistance will be higher with the more amperage there is. The less amperage, the less voltage. Wow. The more the amperage will go down on the load. So after 5 seconds, we went down to 5.88 volts, which is a big drop. And then we had an amperage load. The maximum we seen was 157 amps, 0.1. Now, I think part of the reason we're seeing is also temperature. Like I said, our test rig board. Oh yeah, we gotta check battery temp, sorry. Battery temperature after the test, 82.5. Huge increase in temps on these batteries. So this is a strenuous load on these poor little guys. So that C rating, yeah, right. Our test rig board, we are at 61.6 degrees. Our resistors now, we're seeing anywhere up to 125, 123, 132, 125. Decent. I check our temp on our wires. Wires aren't too bad. They're holding up decent. Positive battery wires are going up. So we're seeing an increase, obviously. The resistor started out in the first test cold, 61 degrees. And now we are up to 125, 130 degrees. So I think this is also part of the fact of the amperage load going down. I'm going to do some more studies on that to see if the temperature of the resistor is actually losing a little bit of its capacity. Like I said, this is a test for me, you, and it's us. It's not a laboratory, just to see what's going on. Again, the last cell, which I thought was going to do the best, actually went down 157 amps at 5.88 volts. Voltage now is at 8.28 already, so the recovery is really good. The battery is still warm, it's recovering. Recovery voltage is 8.28. Battery's up to 85 degrees F. So we had a nice little 20-degree increase in battery temp. I'm going to go together and put all these batteries on charge. I'll put down the milliamp for each cell, what cell 1 took, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4. Then we'll get crazy and we'll go up to the 2S, 4P tests, etc., with these big amp loads. And I'm pretty sure the P's are going to help us. Not positive, but we'll go ahead and see what it actually does. There's only one way to find out. If we can't trust the people telling us, we test for ourselves. So I'm going to go in, charge these batteries up. I'll let you know how many. I'll put a thing up at the end of this test that shows the milliamps of what each cell took to get it back up to charge. We're going to charge them at 5 amps every battery, so it's the same. And then I'll record that data. Then we'll move on to the next test. I will probably just do a screen. I'll put it on the kind of spreadsheet, show it up on the screens, how we're going to show this data. And then thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys. This is for the love of the RC hobby. If you like the stuff, if you found it interesting, go ahead, please hit the like button. You can always use that. In the comments, give me hell. I don't care. Good, bad, give me something. Like I said, all this stuff is out of my pocket. It's for fun. It's for me to know. It's to share with you guys. This test bench, I have a bunch more resistors sitting over there. I want to check out some of that Mark Vine data, see about that 400 amp load and what it does. But this is all out of my pocket just for information. And just the comments would be great, just so I understand, do you guys like it? Do you not like it? What do you want to see different? There is some stuff coming up, waiting for it to get delivered. But yeah, let me know if you want to see something different or what you think. And I would greatly appreciate that response. Thank you for watching. All right, guys, this is cell 4, getting ready to charge it up. This is one I was worried about. This was our lowest dip in voltage. And we check Cell 1 is 4.12, cell 2 is 4.15, 96%. Overall 94, 93, and 96. So we got some pretty good cell imbalance after that. So we'll charge it up and make sure she recovers. Just so you all know, while the batteries are charging, it's what my wife's got me doing. I'm slaving away. I'm in charge of little baby cabbages. She's over here crazy cooking. Say hi. Hi. She loves the fact of the time I spend with RC. There's Lazy Dog. Lazy Dog 2. I gotta get back to my baby cabbages and get them going.